guys, and welcome to this simple review of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And this book is incredibly beautiful on the outside, and it's alluring and it's intriguing, and it's about an old Hollywood actress who has been very famous in her time and has stayed in Hollywood for the length of her career. And this just follows her journey and her 7 husbands. So the whole synopsis on the back kind of has a huge twist in it, and this book hits like a lot of main things. It talks about like diversity, and this book talks about like diversity and sexuality and women in the workplace and LGBTQ rights, and it touches on a lot of different subjects and a lot of subjects in Hollywood. But as intriguing as it is, the whole storyline is about a woman and her 7 supposedly husbands who she loved, and which one does she love more. And this other girl is brought in from the very beginning, and you don't know why she's part of the story, and she's the journalist interviewing her, and you don't know why she's getting this all-tell-all biography story in the very beginning. And so you don't really know Monique's full story, and through most of it you don't until the very end why she was even brought in the first place. The allure and the appeal to the story, it's a little bit of a Marilyn Monroe story, or kind of, that's what a lot of people talked about. It reminds them of a Marilyn Monroe story. But the important premises of the book, and you get in really quickly, I think is kind of given away really fast, is that her one true love was not a man, it was a woman. And that's why she had so many husbands. And it's really easy to guess from that forward, was to kind of cover this up. And not that she didn't love men, but that's like the whole premise of the story, and this coming out and telling her whole story and telling her love's story pretty much. And then, so for me, it didn't draw me in. It wasn't the person's story, the character story, the Hollywood story. I've read other stories about Marilyn Monroe, or fictitious stories about her, and I've read fictitious stories about Hollywood, and for some reason I give them all lower ratings. So this book I gave 3 stars, and it isn't because of the theme or the topic or anything to do with that. It's just, it just became too predictable for me, and for some reason I'm not lured in by the Hollywood story. I always think I'm going to be. I always think it's going to be glamorous and wonderful, but it ended up, I didn't see this in a lot of reviews, but it ended up being very predictable. Like every Hollywood or really wealthy person there, you would think they would do something bad to get where they are, or it was like every predictable thing you think would happen in Hollywood, this woman did. Like, she was not a nice person. She says it over and over again. She stepped on people and divorced people and got married to people just to get where she wanted, used sex to get where she wanted. So it was a bit sad in a way, and it was really predictable, but the writer is a solid writer. She's one of the best romance writers I've ever read. I absolutely love her. The story was a solid read. It was really well done. It was really well put together. It wasn't a read for me. It wasn't intriguing for me. I just got bored, and I thought it was predictable. And then also the other girls who was other main character, but really wasn't. She was probably in I'd say a fourth of the story. Was Monique, and you don't know why she's there, and you get to know her a little bit, and you get to know like one side of her only. I feel like her character wasn't really fleshed out. So I'm not going to give away, but there's like a big reveal at the end why she's part of the story and why she was chosen to interview and write the biography. I didn't feel anything. I feel bad, but I didn't feel much for her. I wasn't pulled into her character yet. I didn't love her character. I didn't know her well enough. I felt like she just wasn't fleshed out enough for me. It was a solid, like I said, it was a solid read. She's a really good writer. If you're intrigued by these stories, you would probably love her. I wouldn't, if you read this book first and you didn't really like it, I wouldn't base that off her other books. Some of her other books are phenomenal and are completely different kinds of reads. And even her latest book, Daisy Jones and the Six, is a completely different type of read. So I thought she did really well. I thought it was a solid read, but this one just wasn't for me. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!